Some of the emotions that went into it were, one of the biggest things was letting go of a lot of little selves.
And why that came into the record?
Because for me, the true creation comes when there's a space for it. And when you hold on to things, and I say this for everyone because we all do it. When we hold on to things, meaning images of ourselves, my image of me as a musician or as a lyricist, my image of Mercury Rev and how it should be perceived versus how it is perceived. When you hold on to all these things, it really restricts true creation. It only leads to more little alterations. Yeah. Tiny little modifications of things, but it never leads to a change or a true transformation.
Yeah. What you're saying is that some people, like, let's take an example, I don't know if it's a good one, but like Neil Young, or an artist can be too conscious of being Neil Young or something.
It can happen to all of us. I think it happens to everyone. You don't have to be a musician. You can just be too conscious of, or so conscious of the image you're trying to portray that when it no longer matches the actual you, it leads to a lot of psychological suffering. It does. You see it all the time with age. And people not, I don't want to say acting their age, but still stuck with the 21-year-old version of themselves, and they're well into their 40s. And you see it creates a big discrepancy between the way that they really are and the way that they wish they were perceived. And it happens in music. It can happen in the studio. It can happen on stage. It can happen in all these little places that you think you protected from, you know? And you can just say, well, if we just don't pick up a guitar, this record will be so different. And it's not really the case. And there's a lot of little ways that artists can fool themselves, trick themselves into thinking they're really changing. Yeah. Whether there's a transformation or not, I leave up to the listener in that way. But I was conscious at times that you can reach for something that's almost a crutch, musically or just in life. And it doesn't just have to be reaching for the clarinets and the violin section. It can just be a habit of a way of doing things that becomes a rut. And the groove becomes so well worn that you don't even see yourself in it. People around you can, and they try to push you out of it gently, or they'll point it out to you quite bluntly. And if anything, maybe there was some of that looking inward on this record, and just take for our own sake or for my own sake, and saying, what are the things that I just generally default to, fall into, you know? Yeah. Not for any big manifesto of anything else other than I found myself enjoying this looking in and seeing the little things that I might always cling to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How was the experience of the making of the record? Because I read earlier that Deserter songs and All His Dreams.
Excuse me.
You said that weren't too good experience of making because you didn't really get along that well in the days.
No, All His Dream was really fine. Okay. Deserter songs had a lot of sadness around it, just personally, and of course that seeps in through the walls into the recording studio. Now, it doesn't mean every day I was crying while playing the guitar, but there was an overall sadness to that period of time, you know. And it's ironic because that's one of the albums that most people gravitate towards and say, we love that melancholy, we love that sadness, give us more.
Radiohead is one of the biggest bands of the world.
You know. Yeah.